All right, y'all. Welcome back to Buff City Central, the rawest podcast in the city. Turns out we're not even in the city today. We went all the way down to Detroit for y'all for this one. So look, I'm gonna let my boys over here introduce themselves. Y'all already know me. I'm Joe. My boy Dorian, co-host.
No, I go by Jay Coney. I'm a rapper, producer. I do a lot of music, and I'm in Class Act. We well-rounded over here.
Hey, Rashard Dobbins, Executive Director of Class Act Detroit. What he said.
So look, you want to come at this first? You get this? You got it?
No, you got it.
All right, look. So my first question, right? For the people who don't know who, I want to start off with you, Rashard, specifically, right? So executive owner, Class Act Detroit, right? So from what I know, you guys basically, y'all help the youth in terms of music programs and art programs around Detroit, right? So can you just start off with telling us like some of the programs you have and what they entail?
For sure. I mean, he could do it too, but I just say, man, easiest way to say it, we use hip hop to reach and teach, man. Right? We talked about it earlier off camera. It's about the culture, it's about us. But to answer your question directly, music production, DJing, podcasting, anything that's really a form of media, right? Even dance, everything is really media. It's not just us sharing on social media, right? But anything that we're creating. So we just use culturally relevant teaching, game-based projects, right? Project-based learning and game-based stuff are just real-life projects, right? To make it happen, right? Within our culture.
So what's like the lowest age bracket you started to start helping and teaching?
Man, the youngest, we actually go as young as
kindergarten.
Young as kinder.
You punching in kindergartners.
Man.
That's crazy.
Yeah, we'll do beats. We'll do whatever we do with 14, 15, 17-year-olds. We just scaffold it, right? And that's one of the things that sets us apart is like, when I was that young, I wanted to do those things.
Exactly.
And at a certain point, you start to trade it up. You're embarrassed to say that because you're thinking there's no money or this. But if you're an entrepreneur, if you're an artist, if you're a creative and an entrepreneur, they're the same thing as far as if you ask me. Right, you got to build a business, you got to build a brand. So,
because either way, you're selling something, even if it's yourself, you're selling yourself to people.
Exactly. So for us, it's young as kinder.
Right. So do you feel like in terms of creativity, right? Do you feel like that creativity can be hindered by like parents or so, and you guys are coming in and changing that, or how do you feel about that in terms of the youth creativity amongst the youth?
Man, that's a good question, man. I mean, you just said it, bro. Like, we're all about fighting the isms, right? White supremacy is at the top of that list, right? Racism. That's why we love doing this work, because when we say hip-hop, you're talking about a so-called black, so-called brown movement. And I say so-called because we're not Crayola colors. We're bigger than that. But it's always been youth-focused and youth-centric. It's always been intergenerational. It's always been black and brown, right? It's always been, you take away my art supplies, what I do? We go do murals.
Exactly.
You take away my saxophone, that's cool. That's all right. I'm an MC anyway. I'm a DJ. Right? I'm gonna take the instrument, you know what I'm saying, that was made to play a recorded record. I'm gonna make that the new instrument. It's cool. Right? It's a level of resilience, you know what I'm saying, that just speaks to our ancestry and to what we're doing. So to me, I'm proud of it, right? When I go into a boardroom or I'm speaking with other executives, right, or philanthropic institutions, it's interesting, right? Because we know that rap in particular, but like hip hop, people don't always understand what that is.
Right.
But like if you're a part of that culture, then you understand it is jazz. It is R&B, it is soul, it is funk, it is country, it is blue. It's everything. Right. It's growing up in the church, playing drums.
Definitely is.
And then going to keys, and then, right? I mean, great example. So it's just like 100% is hindered, has the potential to be hindered by your upbringing, right? And of course, you know, your first tribe is going to be your household and the environment that you grew up in, right? So that's where you're going to get that first. So being able to have a springboard or a platform, day one, that's the goal, man.
So how did you get into music? Oh, I'm gonna cater this to both of you.
I like it.
Yeah. How did young man? How did you get into music? What's going on?
Go ahead.
All right. It's kind of a funny story because I first started on drums, but I never knew how to play drums. So I go into church, probably like 3, 4 years old, get on the drum set. All the older ladies say, "Get off them, boy, get off them drums, boy." I'm like, I used to be kind of irritated by it because I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a drummer. That's what I was thinking back then. Right. So I used to just watch the drummer. I just paid attention to everything he did. I'll get some books, some pencils, start doing what he did, and eventually just one day it just got to the point where it's like I was doing that. You know, I was on drums, and everybody like, oh my God, he know how to play? No, and I started playing for the church. Yeah. And then a couple years back, I picked up keys because like I just like to like see the beauty of it. Like you get to make your own song or get to make anything. Actually, like music is in everything, in all of us, everything. It gives us beats, it gives us tempo, it gives us everything. You know, like you could turn on jazz right now. We could talk over jazz. It sound good because that's just music. So. You know, I just like to appreciate the beauty of it.
So drums, piano, anything else?
I'm also like playing bass guitar.
Bass guitar. Anything else?
That's what I was about to say.
What else he got? I feel like he's holding back. I don't know.
He holding back, bro.
Holding back. Anything else?
I also make my own beats, produce. Thanks to Mr. D, you know, he picked me up from school, and he brought me into it for real. He gave me the stuff I needed, you know, all the equipment. All the stuff he taught me how to DJ. My uncle DJ too. I picked it up from him, so I kind of knew how to do it. But Mr. D actually gave me like the ins and outs of it, like the crossfader, volume fader. He was telling me what everything is. Yeah, so he got me into it.
Promise. Where the camera at? Promise I didn't say this boy to say that.
How old are you?
Oh, this is not paid. It's none of that.
No, I'm just saying I appreciate the love, man. That's
so that goes into my question. So just for the people watching, what's your relationship to Rashad?
Mr. D, I look at him like family. Like he's family for real. You know, he brought me from like being like down here and just running around all wild young cat to bring me like to more mature myself. You know, we talk all the time. You know, just about life. It don't like every time we talk, it's not even about music all the time. It's just so called like just bettering ourselves, being well rounded, just like Class Act is.
Right. So you have benefited from the Class Act program, right? So my question to you is, what are done like?
I'm gonna go be a farmer now.
nah. But for real though, like what? Okay. So y'all record, y'all get these skills, right? What is done with the music? After you guys get punched in, you got your song. It's in your mind, you just made it. This is a hit. What do you do from there?
Well, we go from there. We don't get cocky. We don't get arrogant. We don't do none of that. We stay humble. We keep working because, like, it's never no limit to how you can go, how far you can go. Like, we can make a hit right now, $1 billion. Oh, Class Act not going to be done. Like, when Mr. D get older and he passed the torch to me, then I'm going to take on and I'm going to, start the cycle over again.
You sound like you got something to torch already.
I'm saying, man. This music to my ears, bro.
So how did you get into music? Like, what was...
Man. Hey, look, I need a moment, bro. Look, this dude... Man, music for me, so I listen, similar to what he just said, I came out the womb like that, man. You know, it's funny because, like, our childhoods really do show us what you're supposed to do, right? We all have family stories, especially, right, it's around Thanksgiving, just after right now, for those that's gonna see this. There's stories that your family gonna tell when y'all all there eating your food, right, that they always tell and they just go out one ear and right.
And one ear out the other.
In one ear and out the other. For me, always been musical. Always making beats even when I didn't know how to use the software, the hardware. I'm talking about even on the Fisher-Price table, right? If you go to the lunchroom, I'm that one that's gonna be, right? I'm not the only one. I've just always been that way, right? When all them shows on Broadway and different places where they were doing percussion, right? When Bucket Drummond really got hot, like when I was younger, I was like, yo, you seeing that as you. But if you don't have the opportunity, like if you don't have the drumsticks, like here you go, right? You're not gonna really do that. And for me, I move so much, man. I went to a new school every year, right? We move 1 to 2 times a year.
That's crazy.
Religiously. Not just because we in the church, like literally, right? All the time. So I really wasn't able to do what I wanted to do. And then at a certain point.
You weren't really grounded, necessarily.
Weren't really grounded. As soon as I became grounded, man, junior year of high school, right? Went to a performing arts high school, or what became a performing arts magnet school, right? At the time, it wasn't, but we were known. I don't know this because I didn't grow up there. I'm
Right.
from here, right? Go to this school.
Where was that school at?
It's outside of Atlanta. It's called Heritage, right?
Okay.
Great school, man. I will never say anything bad about this school because what it did for me was open my eyes to the possibilities, right? I used to hoop all the time. Obviously, still hooping a little bit. That's when my ankle hurt. Just get back to it, right? But I always took gym. I never wanted to take anything but gym because I hooped. That was my identity. That's where I was able to, right? That's where I was accepted. That's where whatever, right? That's what I had access to.
Right.
As soon as I went there, they was like, "Nah, you, that's over with. You didn't take gym all this time. You got to take something else. What's open? It was drama, right?"
Right.
Well, our program was crazy at the school. Once again, I don't know this. So even down to improv and stuff, I didn't know I had that gift, man. I didn't know I could sing some. I didn't know I could dance. I didn't know I could act. So my teachers and my friends, people hyping me up, giving me opportunities. And even at that time, I wasn't fully seeing I was feeling myself. I was grounding, becoming more grounded, but I wasn't necessarily having.
You weren't locked in.
Yeah, and then eventually it became that, right? Because you start saying, yo, I can do this. Oh, snap, I can do that, right? I wasn't able to play the drums, and next thing you know, and they was trying to, you making noise, and the next thing you know, you in the pocket. Kind of like that, right? That acting bug, that creative bug is there for all of us, but when it bites you, it's the rap. But just to answer your question, because I was long-winded with it, I tried to play saxophone, in elementary school. And when I tell you, when I went in there, they just gave me the read. It was a blowing this, right? He ain't look at me. He ain't acknowledge me as a human being. It was like, little boy, there you go. Never forgot that, right? He just was talking about jazz music, whether it's on camera or not, right? My granddad used to play jazz all the time. So I'm hearing all the OG samples, all the samples that I love in hip hop.
Right.
I was hearing it day one. So it was like, I wanted to do jazz. I'm like, yo, this Tribe song, this song, Dilla, I love this music. I love all of it. I love the original, I love the new joint, all of it. So I would say that's really where it started, man. But also just that rejection of like having an opportunity to play an instrument that I wanted to play. And then to have somebody not acknowledge me and really shut down the opportunity because I didn't know what to do.
Sometimes it's almost just like, as creative pupils, like being doubted is the ammunition.
You said being what?
Doubted is the
Being
ammunition.
doubted, yeah.
Like being frowned upon. It's like, oh, you don't think I can do it, now I'm about to go do it. You get what I'm saying? But speaking of that, like samples, it leads into my next question. I want both y'all to answer this. Starting with you, Rashard, then I want my man over here to answer it. How has the music scene in Detroit specifically affected y'all in terms of your artistry, in terms of you guys being producers and things like that as well, and then running your programs for punching in younger children and punching in kids and showing them the same skills that you have acquired?
That's a lot. So you said really just like how's the scene?
Like how has the music scene like affected y'all in terms of just what everything y'all got going on in terms of the program and y'all being artists and producers?
Man, I would just say flexibility, right? Like if you listen to his catalog, it's all over the place. It's rapid fire, get you hype, and then it's, you know what I'm saying, smooth. I think, honestly, though, if I'm going to answer it just for myself, I would say our heritage, right? Like our heritage in Detroit, our musical DNA is just off the charts and crazy diverse. So, like, that's what really moves me. It's still not just because somebody new is out. For me, I'm grounded in that. Like, the fact that Anita Baker, right? The fact that anybody you want to name, who's who in gospel, when you start talking about Dilla, right? And really digging into that, like what this man is doing from basements, like come on, man, right? From a machine, from an MP, or from a SP, like come on, dude, it's crazy. But I would say that's really what influences it for me. And then two, I would say that's where we bring in tech, right? As you can see, we're crazy tech-based, but it's only because it's the great equalizer. You know, like we're able to train our shorties like, yo, here's an iPad, which you already know how to use. Let me show you how you're able to illustrate these books. Like we have young ladies in our program in particular that have real life books on Amazon, right, that they've illustrated and been paid handsomely for, right? We got kids that create content, stuff that's being used. So like one of our hacks is you're not just practicing only, like this real life application to what we're doing. Right. Like you said, you can make a real fly song and you keep going, right? It's in the vault. Sure, we're able to promote it or do this or do that or make a decision on it. But it's like at the end of the day, it's really about being in the gym, you know, and then creating your own opportunities from there. And I think something powerful, not I think I know, something powerful happens when you're in the gym, right? Like when you're in there, something just clicks. And that practice making permanent, man, is everything. Not perfect, you never be perfect, but practice and making permanent. I ain't forgot how to ride a bike since I learned. I ain't forgot, you know, how to tie my shoe since day one. So when I learned some game, when I learned how to brand myself and market this single, or even just make a single that I love, it's timeless music now, right? It's gonna last. So, you know, that's more so the approach for me, man. But it's our musical hotbed that influences it for me, and then starting to bring in technology to see where it goes. Because with that foundation and the opportunity, they can take it where they want to take it, man.
As artists, like the studio is our gym. You know?
Straight up, that is the gym. We talk about this all the time. I say this to this man all the time. All the time.
So how has the Detroit music scene like inspired you in terms of how you move as a producer and an artist and as a pupil of Class Act? You know what I'm saying?
Well, to be honest,
someone under the umbrella.
To be honest, like growing up, I didn't really like listen to like Detroit rappers for real, and like going to school and stuff like that, you would see people singing this all like this ghetto stuff. And I ain't trying to say like our music ghetto, super ghetto and stuff like that, but like I'd be like, I don't know who that is. Like, you don't know who that is, bro. You not black. You not this. I'm like, bro, like, I just don't listen to that type of music. Like that just don't catch my interest. But as I got older and I looked into like different types, because I didn't know like it runs way deeper than what they put out.
What's on the surface, yeah.
So like Sada Baby, Skilla Baby, F1B, Ice Wear Vest, all that. R.J. Lamont, people like that. They would be like the hottest people out. But you got some more underground people, So like when I actually start listening, now that you're like, oh, they kind of hard for real. Like I start hearing Detroit, I can hear Detroit beat, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I spit on that. Take some hours in the studio, throw somebody feature on it.
So
what I'm hearing is from like the program aspect of it, you're passing off those drumsticks. You're giving the tools and you're helping these people find their position so that they can produce for the world and for themselves. And I find that so beautiful because I feel like a lot more programs should cater towards bringing out or helping them bring their own potential. That's inspiring to me. That's crazy.
Bro,
like,
appreciate it.
who are
for real
musically though? Who are y'all inspirations though? Like, actually scratch that. I don't want to say inspirations because I feel like that's the wrong word. Musically, who are some people y'all will look at and be like, they doing their thing. I'm trying to do my thing like them.
Oh, as an artist, like as a creative?
Creatively, yeah.
I know that's all you, man. I could do that all day.
So
too.
everybody and their mama in my family knows I love Drake. No, listen. But thing is, only reason I say I love Drake, it's not because like he doing like what he doing now. Like I take it from back in the day Drake, then to like when Drake was going through certain phases, and it's just sometimes where I be hearing Drake on these beats, like he really be like talking about his life for real, like stuff he be living.
Like
sometimes.
And the thing about it, it's almost like he can make brushing your teeth and waking up in the morning seem fire, because he's genuinely not like talking about like a lot of the extraness that comes with it. So you as an artist, do you feel like what type of music do you make, right? And then what way do you want to come into the game?
Well, I feel like this. I honestly don't really apply like other artists, and I ain't trying to say like people who do apply to other artists say music is bad, but I'm saying like I listen to like Tyler Creator, Earl Sweatshirts, like I listen to I listen to everybody. So it's like, say like I hear like an Earl Sweatshirt type beat and I even know it's Earl Sweatshirt, I can go in there with some different type flow and then just throw that together like as like a different form of style,
Right. So okay, do you guys feel like, well, for one, what's something y'all can add to y'all program, or something that's coming next in y'all program that's like people don't know, like something underrated?
I'm curious. Talk to me, man.
I feel like since Class Act is real rounded, practice makes permanent, you know, we use hip hop to reach out. I feel like something we could really, really add to our program, because, you know, we work with beat making, rapping, producing, you know, all that. I feel like, honestly, what I would want more is, like, more instrumental, like, more of, like, real-life instruments. So, you know, like, we got the drum set, we got the piano and all that, but I feel like I want to take it to the next level to, like, live recording, like, you know, like, putting a mic by the piano and actually playing it, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's definitely.
Seem like you'd be the one teaching it.
Right.
You on the way. Or you might be already there. I don't know.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. Did you guys, what's something that like you've done that in terms of the program, like a big thing you can look back on and like, yo, we really went crazy on that. Like that's something we really accomplished. Like a goal you might have set out and then you completed it, or maybe a song that ended up coming out of it. Like,
Right. I'll say the space we in now, man. Like this, right? We in a 10,000 square foot former house of worship where we planning out live rooms throughout the entire space, right? Commercial kitchen downstairs, cafe space downstairs. Down that hall, studios and dance studios, right? So stuff for video making, for all content. So whatever it is that your superpower is, it's a gym membership for that, right? It's a platform for that. It's a gathering of individuals like ourselves, right? I would say this, man. Like this has always been what we've done. Like day one, we found it in the house, right? In true Motown fashion. Took every room, made that a studio, right? Shout out to and paying homage to Berry Gordy and the brilliant minds at Motown. But like that's not uncommon for Detroit. That's probably one of the greatest examples, right? Recording all those tracks in a house, in a garage, right? And then was only here in Detroit for, you know, a decade plus, right? That's heavy to have a global impact. So for us, in that same fashion, we say, okay, cool. We breaking down the barriers all the way down as young as kinder, putting studios everywhere in this house, right on the west side, up the street from Mary Grove, around the corner from the Avenue of Fashion, Fitzgerald and Bagley community, where it's needed. And then we went from there, man. But like day one, we've been going there, right? When you qualify for your calling, man, it's long as you in the gym, next thing you know, the scouts is coming. Next thing you know, Shaq and his son in there, you like, okay, cool, because you in the gym. So whatever it is, wherever you're supposed to be at, man, I'm not saying that you don't have to like, you know, decide that you want to switch it up or, you know, go back to the drawing board. I'm just saying when you're in the gym, it's going to get you where you need to be, right? We didn't own that house where we started, though. A whole bunch of stuff happened, had to leave. Went to another crib. The world changes, everything went online, right? Even before we got here, man, especially me personally, went through a million different things, right? So to be here, despite all of the challenges, right, just in life, let alone in business, let alone in the world, let alone personally, that don't nobody even know about. Right? I told y'all, we talked a little bit before. Like, to me, this is the biggest flex. And it's because y'all see the space, it's crazy. Yeah. Already, off rip, right? Off rip, like raw, crazy. Right. Can see the potential. We own the land, we own the parking lot, all of it, right? But we did it with them, right? We went to them and said, okay, bet, what's it gonna be? So essentially, that's a seed. So it's the promised land now, but it's gonna look way better in 100 years.
So you got the youth voice involved in everything you're doing.
That's what set it off for us, right? That's what really sustained it. We did that from that original house, right, back in 2017, all the way to now. We never stopped doing that. And like, that's really what passing in the rock and saying, what's up, what you wanna do? That was the initial seed. So even before we started getting money to say, okay, this is what they wanna do. All right, y'all wanna do it right? Y'all wanna do focus groups? You wanna do that? Yeah. Cut the check, let's make it happen. We've been doing that. We've been saying, yo, what you wanna do? You asked me a question, I said, look, I wanna hear what he gotta say. And he said, we want more instruments. Well, we got the plug for that. So let's get real specific into which ones, right? While these studios are being built out, we have live rooms. We have, proper recording studios and all of that. So,
Do you feel like the youth is our future?
nah.
What do you mean? Elaborate on that.
Y'all not the future, bro. Y'all the now. That's not a. That's. I'm a teach, right? I don't know which one I want to go with, educator or teacher today, but
Both.
right. We'll go with both. I'm a communicator, right? I'm real. I'm human. I love my people. Within teaching circles, educational circles, we always say, y'all the future, y'all the now, right? If you start your media company now, what are you 10 years from now? You a bad boy. You know what I'm saying? You a bad man. I already know. You already got books. Come over here, right? You just started taking rhyming for real. You just performed the other night here in the city.
Why?
Because I was DJing, right? You see what I'm saying? Them opportunities is going to be there for you for the rest of your life. You see what I'm saying? Because that's how it should be. Like, that's the most damning thing when you talk about the isms, specifically when we start talking about supremacy. Like, we know the economic side. But on this side, it's community, period. Just fam, like, what's good? What you need? Oh, he doing this? Let me connect you. Can I connect you, right? Like, or just support, and if you want it, it's there. But like, when you look at the prison system, when you look at just all the things the last 40 years, let alone the last 400 plus, just the last 40 years, what's happened is a unit, community, how culture's been hijacked, how a lot of different things has happened. It's interesting. And then how y'all voices in many ways has been suppressed, but at the same time, not suppressed. Because you can speak to anybody right now. But yeah, my whole thing is early access to what you want to do, man. So.
Do you feel like okay? So do you feel like with that, right? The youth is a now. What, in terms of now, so are you specifically the one? Like, are you specifically one of the engineers, like punching the kids in and things like that?
Oh, you talking about when we're recording? Yeah, when we're recording. So it's a little bit of both, man. So I could do that, or it's nothing for me. Like he said, I will get the equipment because I know what's needed. So I'm like, okay, what you said? You working on what? So you need some monitors, right? I'm like, what you got? You know what I'm saying? So it could be that. I've done that. If you're somebody like Jacob, you're taking that on and exploring that yourself. If you're somebody like King, you're doing that yourself, right? So I'm able to now just be an ally beside you and say, okay, cool, I see what you're doing.
So do you guys distribute the kids' songs as well?
Oh, like just exclusively?
Like, no, I'm saying, like, do you guys, like, put them on platforms and things like that?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, we have kids right now, man, that music's been featured in the Library of Congress. My music not in the Library of Congress, man. Right? They coming out the gate like that. That's dope. Right? They coming out the gate with performance opportunities, right? And things like that. So it's just like, it's there. And some of them, they already, like, they're about that life. I mentioned just a few names, or one name right now. I can mention more, right? But it's always looking for those opportunities to build your resume and really build your confidence and knowing, like, I am this. I'm not trying, I am whatever you wanted to make it. And, it's a powerful statement.
I want to get into the space a little bit. IKEA.
Oh, word. Did I say that?
How do you see the layout of how do you see the layout of the space and what you want to have things changed around?
We had so many conversations even before it was rolling, man. So we just
get the exclusive.
Yeah, he get this.
We can save it. I don't know.
No, you good. You good. So we just did a performance there, a group of us. I can send y'all some of the footage. I want to hear him talk about it, man, because we actually were in one of the spaces. Did you hear his question?
Can you repeat the question?
Yeah.
Like the changes that you kind of envision seeing now with the help of IKEA. Like, how do you see that?
What's cracking with IKEA is what my boy saying. What's going on with y'all and IKEA is what he's talking about, man.
I do your research, man.
For sure.
Did I tell you we wasn't talking about this? Okay. Go ahead.
I honestly feel like IKEA is going to be a super big impact, on what we do. Because honestly, all this, like the whole little room right here, I see this as like performing right here, like the stage. Like we might take the pews out. We can put instruments right here. I just feel like this main room right here is gonna be like the performance room. Like and like all the rooms down there are gonna be like studios. You know, the sound foam on the wall, the booths, like just rooms for everything, any type of people.
I feel like we need this in Buffalo. I'm not gonna front. There's a lot of young artists. There's a lot of young artists who would benefit from this in Buffalo. This is like something I was trying to do, like in terms of helping like the other artists and you, because I'm a senior now, so it's like now I go to school and like all like the kids are younger than me and stuff like that. So they be coming to me talking about music or whatever they got going on.
Do you
and stuff
anticipate
like that.
expanding?
Man, that's beautiful, bro. Yeah, like this right here, like what we're all doing, if I'm being honest, right? Thank y'all for shining the light and giving us love. But yeah, this is something that's universal. We're part of a global culture, man, right? Our ancestry's already all over the spot, right? We know this, so it's definitely replicatable, and I think that's important that y'all asking this or that you even going there with it, because like I got the opportunity, right, to go to Mississippi, and we all know, those listening in, watching, all of us know the South has a bad rap for many reasons, and a lot of it is well-deserved. Here's the thing. When you go to certain places like a Mississippi or Alabama where there's been like these grave injustices that we all know and we study, and they hurt us to our core, right? Some of our family members are from these areas. And we hear stuff that's not in the textbook. If something works in certain places where it's ground zero, man, there's so much game to apply somewhere else. So to what you're saying about it being in Buffalo, it's like, yo, we already brother cities, right? There's so many similarities, it's not even funny, right? Just like with Detroit and Oakland. So it's just like, and really any Mecca, any chocolate city, right? But I'm speaking specifically like going to Mississippi, going to Medgar Evers' family home.
Medgar Evers?
Medgar Evers. Going to the driveway where he shot, there's still stains to the day. I don't say that proudly. I only say it because it sticks out in my mind. Yeah. Right? And when you hear the story and you know what the brother was doing, and then you hear like, wait a second, he's holding some shirts that say, what? White T-shirts. This man gets shot, right? Assassinated at his own house while, you know what I'm saying, doing something for the rest, you know what I'm saying, his calling. Now, that don't mean that you should have to die, right? But I'm just saying, like,
for people who don't know, who you speaking of?
Medgar Evers, the Medgar Evers, right? In the same canon when we talk about Dr. King, same canon when we talk about Malcolm X, Angela Davis, right? Medgar Evers from Mississippi. The first, I don't want to butcher the title, but NAACP, right? Like, there's a reason why he's the first, because it's Mississippi, and it's, right, this is the same place where the flag just changed. Since we're talking about the last couple of years, right? The flag just changed. It's the last one. So when you are able to do work at that level, going somewhere else, I'm not saying it's going to be easy, but there's certain things that they did that worked really well. And the reason why I bring this up is when Emmett Till was murdered, what they do? Where they meet up at? They went to Mississippi, right? Where it happened, where to this day, the markers that let people know the atrocities that was done to Emmett Lewis Till, right, are being shot up, people trying to dig it up, disrespecting it to this day, right? You already know how I want to say it, to this day, right? So, but they all converged, put all their differences aside and say, yo, what's your superpower? What you doing? What you doing? We working together, we building a movement. And like, that's the whole goal, bro. Like, that's what this is. We're in a church that started in 1919, and here we are in what year? 2022. Remixing it. We ain't say we busting our windows, these original beautiful stained glass windows. We're not doing that. We're going to make them more culturally relevant, but we're remixing the space. And they've been in front, beside, and there for the entire ride, from day one to now, right? They aunties, they grandmamas, everybody know. So when you mention the IKEAs or any of our other partners, because I'm not even just going to shout out one, you know, when you look at some of the partnerships that they have, like, these are people that's what I mean by when you in the gym, things start happening. That original house we had, bro, we didn't have no money, didn't have no furniture. It was my house, right? That's where I was renting. That's all I had. I gave that up and was like, yo, let's go. Let's get it. Right? I gave up my house for hip hop, and now we got House of Hip Hop.
Those the struggles that a lot of people don't see behind the scenes.
They're not gonna see that, man.
Like what it takes for real. Speaking on those, like,
and that's just the surface level.
Keep speaking on them. Like, what behind the scenes to get? How did you get here? Is my question. Like, what got you here? Yeah, like here. Like, what did you have to overcome to get here? For real.
We ain't got that much time.
Man, give me a little piece.
Listen, man. While building a home for the arts, I was displaced on my own, right? While raising money, large quantities of money to be able to get this space that we need in all of our meccas. That don't mean I necessarily that don't mean that was that for me, right? So I would just say, man, it's a lot of sacrifice, and being an entrepreneur. There's no cap on it, especially when we're talking about legacy. That's a whole different game, right? It's not about that. And any of the people that I just mentioned, do we know how much they made? Do we know how much Dr. King's pockets? Do we know his net worth? It don't even matter.
Really don't.
Because we talking about impact. We're not just talking about like men and women who are the movement, because they bad by themselves. They dang near almost a movement to themselves, but they not. Right. They all came together in spots and say, yo, we working together. So that's how that brother is able to say, yo, I might not get there with you, but we're gonna get there as a people. Right. It's supposed to be the collective, and that's how I view hip hop, and that's how we move as well. It's like, yo, this is the civil rights movement 2.0, 3.0, 4.0, right? It's laying claim to our land. It's taking back these neighborhoods, whether they underinvested or not, whether they trifling, but they also beautiful, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, we're able to like really control that narrative, and it's hard to do that.
I want both of y'all to answer this.
Yeah.
My fault.
Two more things before we go. All right. Hulu. I need to know about it.
Before we get to the thing, I just want to answer this one thing, then you get the rest of this, all right? You spoke on legacy. Define what legacy you guys want to leave in 3 words each, starting with you, Rashad.
Oh, man, come on, you do that. I definitely about to go, huh? 3 word legacy in 3 words?
Legacy.
Oh, man. Like single words, right? I'm going to do hyphenates or something. I'm going to start with this, man, farmer. So farmer or farming, love, and I'm going to just say movement, because I already kind of qualified it. But if y'all need me to elaborate on farming, I'll do that. But pass it down.
Something you're going to leave behind 3 words.
Yeah.
Okay.
In terms of your legacy.
I don't even remember what I said. I know the first
Honestly, I want to leave behind balance,
Oof.
peace, and class act.
Oof. You should have started with him.
Sure.
Already doing it.
What you mean by that? What you mean by that, broski? You got to elaborate on that. What you mean by balance? I want to hear about balance. Balance to
I
what?
mean, like, nobody's perfect, no family is perfect, none of that. But, like, I want us to be able to get along,
Yeah.
Not necessarily just arguing all the time, drama all the time. Feel like more of just, like, everybody just being, like, in their own lane, but you can still come together.
I feel you on that.
Yeah. Or I could say kids, family, hip hop. I could do that too.
Kids, family, hip hop, legacy.
Yeah.
I dig it.
I like the farming one though, because they could really take care of all of that. But
Right, but you're not slick though.
You gotta sow them seeds, man.
You're not slick though.
What's up?
My man's asked you a question. Hulu. What's good with Hulu?
Were you both on it? Or was it just him? Or
You got it. You got it.
Hulu.
If you want it.
Hulu happened with Hulu. Class act happened with Hulu. I mean, yeah, it was a nice talk. Like, it was a podcast. We got some fidget spinners. We ate good. Mr. D can give you more information.
I keep passing it to you.
I see it, yeah. So for us, man, we're really fortunate, man, to have some amazing partners. So throughout all the ups and downs, throughout whatever there's a lack or deficiency in, like I said, we've aligned ourselves with individuals to get to our goals, right? Yep. And the beauty is they're aligning themselves with what we're doing. We're attracting it. So the Hulu opportunity came with some folks that, you know, work there within the corporate office. They're aware of what we do. They believe in what we're doing, the fact that it's truly about power for the youth, right? It's power for y'all, right? If you really care about kids and them being the future, then you understand it's the now. So you need to do something in the now, sow those seeds so that that's the reality 15, 20 years from now, right?
Farming.
Farming.
Yep.
You feel me? It's different seasons. Sometimes if you from where we from, you're not just getting out the mud. You gotta go through the snow first. And if you in the dirty, right? And I went to college there. If you down south, then you know how the heat hits. You know what it's like to get it out the mud. It's a different type of getting it out the mud. You know what I'm saying? Every place has that. But if you here, we gotta get out the snow. It's a different type of energy you gotta bring, right? You gotta bundle up one time and then go do what you gotta do, right? Whether you at a plant, working somewhere, whether you doing that, that's our whole region, right? Midwest all the way to Buffalo. That's going on. We know this, but you know, it's really just attracting people that's like-minded, right? If you're kid-centric, if you believe in culturally relevant teaching practices, if you believe in being anti-racist, right? We're gonna rock with you. You know what I'm saying? So that opportunity came, and actually was the first podcast you did, right? There you go, right? That was sponsored. Like that's his first podcast was sponsored by the local Hulu chapter that's here. You see what I'm saying? Like that's our whole thing. Like you not just
It's opportunity.
it is opportunity. So it's like depending on who you are at this point. Like now, if we call them same individuals, which shout out to y'all, right? If y'all see this, it's different than when y'all get introduced to him. I say, yo, this is my man's. He got a book. He got some singles out right now. Let's make something happen. And y'all already have a podcast. You've been doing it. So like that's the whole thing. His first one was that. Yeah. Right? So it's just like
See what happens though. That's his first one. Now you on another one.
There you go. So
Yeah,
now
I'm
you
saying.
didn't develop the appetite, and it's like, okay, it's game time. We're up here, right? I perform at the IKEA store, man. Right? It's levels. You know what I'm saying? Like the ceiling, their ceiling, y'all ceiling, anybody that's considered younger than me, whatever, anybody really, ceiling, floor should be wherever our ceilings where we thought, right? It's limitless, bro. Like that's the whole goal. It's like you're not just starting down here. Now you got way too much support from that. Whatever you want to do, that's where we at. Right? That's where we are. You have that. And I think, especially as men of color, but just people of color, period, we've embraced this having to do it by ourselves. I think the people who sometimes believe in bootstraps the most is us. Even though we was the folks building the boot, putting your boots on, made the straps, the boots and straps factory, then that factory gets burned down, and then what they say? Pull yourself up by your bootstraps, right? You're talking about people that's always had to go get it. Yeah. So, you know, having help is a beautiful thing, man. Yeah. There's not one culture that I moved a lot. There's not one culture that I could name that doesn't have that support necessarily. I'm not saying it's all perfect, but I'm just saying when you comparing it, it's apples to oranges. Our community's been destroyed at just a crazy, you know, a crazy rate, and it just really does take us to work together, and you know what I'm saying? So that's to answer your question. That's what that was, right? People that's dedicated to that.
And what a lot of people gotta understand, like, you young, you build that media resume up. The price gonna go up when it's time, you feel me? So it's just keep building that up. I don't know, Dorian, you got anything to add?
Oh. So you're programming individually, website, social media, you want to put that out there?
Sure. Go Jay Coney.
All right, y'all can follow me on Instagram at Jay Coney, JayConey_. You can go on my YouTube, Jay Coney. You know.
Put it, you feel me? What? Yeah, you buy the sauce, you got the sauce, bro. You know what I'm saying? You gotta put it.
You can contact all of us at Class Act Detroit on Instagram.
Man, he got it. Look, I don't even got to do nothing. ClassAtDetroit.org. Holla at us. Simple as that.
I appreciate you guys
Simple as that.
having us here.
For sure.
Right? Detroit is awesome.
For sure.
I've enjoyed my time here.
Good. You eating
You know,
good?
I ate good earlier. He brought us to, what was that place called?
Cuzzo's.
Cuzzo's.
We were at the pizza bar the other night.
How was y'all
Pizza bar.
Thanksgiving? How was y'all Thanksgiving?
We'll take care of that after we. But I appreciate you guys for watching Buff City Central podcast, and tune in next time.
Tune in next time. Follow us on Instagram.
Well, for me,
Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, all that. Buff City Central Pod. Follow me at Havoc J, my boy over here. We going up, man. Buff City taking over Detroit. Let's go.